everyone, this is Tabitha for Sunmud Girl, and today I would like to bring a tutorial on how you can recolor your digi stamps in Microsoft Word. Christy has done one for no lines in PicMonkey, which is free and on the web, but sometimes I don't want to color it just with a taking it down to a grayscale. I wanted kind of a blue or a brown, and that gives different effects. And so that's what I wanted to go over today. First, on how to import the DigiStamp and into Microsoft Word. So this, it doesn't matter if you want to recolor or not. This will apply for any of your DigiStamps, and then I can show you how you can adjust things to get the most out of your paper. And then I'll go into how to recolor the stamps in MS Word. Then I'll print them out and I'll actually color so you can get a sense on how it actually looks when it's colored up, and the different effects that you can get from recoloring it in the different browns and reds and blues and grays. So to get started, I am using Microsoft Word 2013. What I'm doing will apply to any of the Microsoft Words that have the ribbon. So 2000, 2007, 2010, and 2013 for sure. And it's pretty simple. The image that I'm going to be using is Fighter Gwen. She's really easy to color up. You'll get a good sense of how she completely changes between black, which is the image that I'm showing you now, as compared to blues and to the browns. So we will get started. The first thing that we need to do is import Fighter Gwen into Microsoft Word. How we do that is we go to Insert, Pictures, and then you browse to where she is. I have her on my desktop in a folder right now, so I'm clicking her. And when you're doing it in MS Word, it does not matter if you use JPEG or PNG. The only time that the PNG would be the preferred choice is if you plan to do a merge digi scene kind of a thing, and we've gone over that in the tutorials on the YouTube channel a lot too as well. So I usually pick the PNG in case I want to layer some things, but it really doesn't matter. So I insert it. First thing that I do is that I make sure that she is clicked. I go to Format, and I do Wrap Text in front of text. And that allows me to move her on my page without her being stuck in any position. And you notice in 2013 MS Word, those green kind of little markers there, that is showing where the border is. So another thing you can do is go to Page Layout, Margins, and you can click on Narrow, or you can click on No if you have that option. But that way we can get a few more digis in here without it being too big of a problem. The second thing that I like to do is I like to go ahead and resize her to about the size that I will actually be wanting to color her up. And then the idea is that I will fussy cut her out. So I'll be able to get as many of these on here so I can show you how to recolor in different colors. And then we'll do that. So the height and width are connected. So they are linked. So all you have to do is change the height, and I'm going to go down to 9 centimeters. And the width will follow suit. Now, if you don't know exactly where you want in the height and the width, you can use these little things, and you want to use the corners only, because that links the height and the width. If I were to drag it on the sides or on the bottoms and the tops, then it will unlink the height and width, and then she'll be too wide or too narrow. Now, if you resize her too large, that's not that big of a deal. You can always drag and pull her down to a smaller size, and then you're not losing any data, so they'll be fine. That's a lossless kind of process. But if you sized her too small to begin with, when you go back to the original size, or if you go larger, you're going to actually see a major difference in how she prints out. And that is due to, as you go larger, it needs to extrapolate the data of the actual digital image. And this might be a little over your heads right now, but essentially, if you size it too small and you need to go bigger, it's better to insert her again than to try to resize her. So I have her there. I'm going to do a copy and paste. And I want to, right now, I want to make sure that it's the picture that's being, and that means that my sizes as well as the, where she is going to be, she's going to go show up always in that corner there. So you'll have to go back again and do in front of text. So now both of them can move around. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste one more. And again, it's in that corner. So format, wrap text, in front of text, and now I can move her. And again. And right now, I'm going to just show you the 4. Because that is about all the colors that we'll actually be able to do. Well, actually, I can do one more. Format, wrap text, in front of text, and we'll move this one down there. That will be our control, so that will be the black. And then we'll recolor these 4. And the reason why I'm only doing 4 is the way that recoloring actually is in MS Word. We have to do something a little funky to get different colors here. But if you were just printing out in black, this would be the way to go. And if you know you're really fussy cutting and you have different images, and say you had smaller images, you can get a lot in here. And when you have the narrow margins, you see how much you can get in there. So I could actually get 3 up top. So I would be able to get many images here. It works out when you're fussy cutting. Now if you're doing squares, then what I tend to do is go ahead and I insert a shape. Square. And then format, and I go ahead and change that, and then make sure that it's no fill. So then I kind of group them together so that I know how big that's going to take it. So how much room that I need to do. And sometimes I print out the box, and other times I just delete it. If I do print it out, I usually print it out in a really light gray. But so you get the idea, and so that's why MS Word is really super simple to use on your Digi stamps. But let's go back to the recoloring bit. So there's our control down there. Okay, so the first bit we need to do is we need to understand that in order to do anything with the image, you need to go to the format. And in here we have a color. And the first one that we're going to talk about is actually one that's already there. You want to go into color, then to recolor. And then it's about usually the middle one, and it's called Washout. Now this one is perfect for no lines. With the grayscale, it's a neutral gray, so it's just an overall really good basic one to do when you're doing no lines. Now this second one, I don't want that color. I want it kind of a brown. And the only way to do that is if you use these colors down here. You have accent color 1, you have accent color 2, accent color 3, and accent color 4, and there's even an accent color 5 and 6. And what determines the colors here is actually in your design, on your design tab, and it's the colors of the actual theme within Office. So if I were to change, right now I have it this Office Standard, and so the blue is the first accent color. And let's change it to yellows. If I change the theme in Microsoft Word for the page, then that first accent color will always change. And so what this means is that you can actually create custom colors, and which is what I've done. So I'll change to my custom colors, and what I do is I can edit these. And I can pick my accents 1 through 6. So the first one I did, the original one I had was a bunch of golds. So I took the first one and I went in and I created, I clicked on standard and I picked a sky blue. And that's accent 1. And then accent 2, I went with a light yellow. Accent 3 was, the theme itself had a gold color, so I went with a gold, really light gold. Accent 4, I wanted to show how the grays would look, so this is a 25% gray. And then just for the hell of it, I went with the light color in the green for accent 5, and then I kept the dark brown for accent 6. So by saving that, I'll always have those, so I'll always be able to do these colors again. But if you just want to play around with it, you can always just change it. And so like I said, if you put all your images out there and you color them in your custom, and then you go and you change the theme of the page, it's actually going to change the accent colors. But all you have to do is go ahead and select it again. So this one is accent 1. We'll color this one. Accent 2. So this, we click on the image, we go to Format, Color, Recolor, and we want to go to the bottom, and we were looking for accent color 2. And that is the light yellow. Color, Recolor, accent 3. It's another light, it's the gold kind of color. And you see how they look here. And they are a little bit dark, but it's going to do different effects, so always keep that in mind. And then that's how the black looks. But we'll go ahead and copy her again, so you can get an idea of how the greens look. It's rather interesting. So that one, recolor, and we will go green. I'll actually do the control as that brown. So I'm going to put these all up so I can get them all printed out. And then I will actually go ahead and color them all, and it'll be interesting to see how it looks. Definitely when you're thinking about what papers you're going to use, you'll want to stick with the cool colors when you're using a light color like blue. Same with the gray would actually go good with cool or warm colors. And for the rest of them, I would say green can go either way, but brown, you want to stick with the warm colors. Same with the gold and the light yellow. And then the gold looks a little cool to me, so we can probably do cool. So I'm going to go ahead and print that out. Hey, welcome back. I went ahead and printed out all 6 of these. We have the light gray. This was a light blue, sky blue, light yellow, gold yellow, a green, and a brown. And what I did is I went ahead and colored the light blue one as well as the light gold. I'm going to go ahead and color this brown one so you can see the difference between this and the other two, and then we'll talk a little bit back. So I will be right back with that. well, I finished ahead coloring this brown one, and I wanted to take a moment, and this is the black one, if you remember, that's the control kind of a thing. Now we can take a look at it versus the blue. And one of the things that I do is that on all three of these, actually all four of them, I use the exact same color combinations. The blending isn't exact on these, especially this last one, because I did it as quick as possible. But you still get the idea of just how different it looks with the different coloring on the digis. Like this light blue one, it looks really good with the scarf on the head, but then on the red hair it looks kind of weird on the edges on there, and same on the red shirt and the pink shirt. I had to make sure that I went over the lines, which is what I try to do with any no lines, to kind of blend everything in. But even with the skin, you just have that clashing between the cool blues of the printout and the warms, which is the pinks. So I definitely would stick with a blue background, blue digi, for those images that are going to be colored in the cool colors. And then you have the two different forms that I did. You have the brown, which is just like the black. It's dark, and so it gives a that clear definition that you give with the black, but you can see that it softens the image up a little bit. And it's this that I usually use, and a lighter color of this one, kind of like a tannish, that I use for my no lines, especially when I want to do sepia coloring, because it softens the image up just in general, and I really like that. So that one I use a lot. And then we have the light gold here, which this has a cool color kind of combination. I actually wouldn't use this because it kind of clashes with the blue and the pink and the skin. So I actually would not use this light gold. Same with this light yellow. They're pretty much almost identical, and even though they are in the brown family, it clashes with both of the colors, because Copics are translucent over the unless they're the deep color, but they are pretty much translucent on the outlines of the digi. So green I would only do if I was going to color it green. Monochrome, I would not put skin on it. That's why I decided not to do that. And then you have your light gray, which again would be similar to the blues, but you could use that with the warms as well. You would just understand that this is much lighter. And with all three of these images, I should go back in and darken up the pupils. That's for one. I think the hair on hers, because I did a red hair, will be fine. But on the blue one and on this one, I would actually go back in with a brown kind of pen for eyeliner, mascara kind of a thing. So that's kind of the gist of it. I hope that this gives you some idea of how to actually import Digi stamps into Microsoft Word and go ahead and scale them. You have the diagonal box on the scaling that you can use, as well as the in the format you can actually do the height and width, which is what I do. And then you go to color, recolor, and then you pick your colors from the design theme. So pick your design theme that's going to go the best. I would probably pick the reds and yellows, if not make my own kind of custom, which is what I did for this. And so just one last thing that I wanted to note. You'll see I have little red specks on my fingers. That's actually a glitter nail polish. So it's not that my nail polish is coming off. This was done by my little niece when I was in the States. So hello, Lexi. Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for watching the video, and I will check you later.